Instigator Hour. Welcome to the Instigator Hour. My name is Wren Werner. We are so excited, after many technical difficulties, to have Joe Lambert with us, mastering engineer extraordinaire, fellow Western New Yorker, origin story. He had his studio when I was living in New York was in Dumbo, and it was wonderful because my buddy was working at Brooklyn Roasting Company, and so I would pop in, and then you moved to Jersey City right as we were leaving Jersey City, I think, and now you are in Connecticut?
No,
Westchester, that's right.
Yeah, Cortland, Westchester, New York.
Westchester. Well, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Ren. Great to see you.
Yeah, likewise. It's funny because you mastered the Sons of Luther first EP that we put out in like 2017. Super sweet of you to help us with that. It took a very, small home recording and made it into it felt like a real record then. So
it is a real record.
I know. I'm being.
It's a good record.
Well, thank you. That's very
it's a good
sweet.
band.
Yeah, thanks, man. So listen, honestly, it's just super rad that you could join us here during our release week. You mastered our most recent single, "The Wrong Way," which I've been referring to as if Weezer and Smashing Pumpkins and what's the other one, Nirvana, I guess, had a baby. Kind of really leaning into my grunge influences and 90s upbringing. But you're a guitar player as well. You're just such a wonderful musical mind. I'm excited to pick your brain about really the mastering process. I know it's kind of like this elusive ideology that a lot of musicians think they know. It is such an interesting final step of the whole process. And I've really fallen in love with the process over the years of just writing and producing and setting up the logistics of each step of the recording and release process. But can you tell me how you landed in mastering, and is there some great appeal that brought you there, or what is it?
Well, the 5-minute conversation is, as you mentioned, I play guitar, and that's all I really wanted to do. I was playing in bands my whole life. And when I was in my mid-20s, I'd already gone to college and gone through so many bands. I had just gotten to the point where I didn't feel comfortable putting my whole livelihood in the hands of other people.
Right.
Namely musicians who are not
understandable.
Really, artists aren't the most reliable people.
Right.
So I went back to an engineering school, Full Sail.
Oh, okay. Full Sail. Nice.
Thinking I was going to be, like a producer, engineer guy.
Sure.
And as I went through the program, I started to learn about what mastering specifically was. And I liked the idea of it right away because I just thought it fit my skill set as someone who is analytical, or maybe more accurately anal.
I feel that. Trust me, we can smell our own. I do.
And but I was always someone who people trusted to listen to their stuff, to give them an honest answer. And so as I was working my way through studios in New York in, I guess it was the mid-90s, early to mid-90s, I just started doing everything. I was doing live sound, recording, making coffee, everything you could think of.
Yeah,
I did. Hustling, exactly. But I always kind of had it in the back of my mind that if I could steer it that way, I was interested. Mm-hmm. And I had some opportunities, and I just kind of steered myself in that direction, really.
Yeah. No, that's great. And it's interesting because we made a playlist here of kind of some of our favorite tracks that you've mastered and albums. And it is such an incredible, vast array of genre and feeling and vibe. And that's what I'm so curious about. I think most lifers, most music tangentially related people, they can't do anything else like that. That's all they know, or that all they are drawn to. That's their only passion. Right. So when you get to this particular age bracket, I feel like you're really left with the true lifers. And I feel like in order to be that, you either have to be super specific genre, or you're I like everything and I'm good with everything. So I don't know. I think that's the more impressive thing to me, is that you are able to kind of objectively look at whatever genre it is and be like, how can we make this sonically magnificent, and you're killer at that. So kudos. Does that make sense though?
No, it does, because there are a lot of artists, engineers, be it mix engineers, mastering engineers, producers. They have a field a style of music they like.
Right.
They always do metal records, or they always do classical records.
Right.
And there's plenty of reason to do that. You do it well, you do it successfully, people start calling you, and it just kind of perpetuates itself. I was lucky that, even though I have like a rock and roll background and started, there's always that crew of people that I gravitate towards. Being in New York and working at some of the other studios, I was exposed to this really wide variety of clients.
The epicenter of the world, right?
Yeah. So one day I'd be working, some band from like Kansas City would come up to New York, and we'd be doing this, indie rock thing. And then the next day I'd be working with a hip hop guy from the UK who came in. And so it was just so much stuff. And it's like food to me. That's how I look at it, where I like a lot of kinds of food.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. That's great.
Yeah, and I love a lot of kinds of music. And the one thing I learned really fast when I started working in New York is what was really enjoyable was not the style of music, but was just the talent of the people around you. You get someone who just comes in the room and they're just incredible at whatever their music style. It could just be a girl with an acoustic guitar,
right?
Or it could be an 8-piece, metal band. It's like, if you're good, it's exciting and it's fun to work with people who are talented. Absolutely,
couldn't agree more. And that's it, right? Like that transcends genre. Like just being an expert at what you do, whatever that is. Which is why you should, if you are an artist of any stripe, you should probably just not care about how you fit in anything or what anyone thinks of what you do. Just do your thing. That's what makes you special. And that's really wonderful. Yeah.
It's hard.
It is hard. It's hard to like be sure of yourself when you're doing something that's not like anyone else, So that's great. And that's also like part of the deal with any studio situation or scenario with the people that are involved. It's, more so than the actual playing and capturing of the song, it's the hang, and like that's really what I think is funny. I left a Google review for you guys, and everyone that has left a message or review has been like, you guys are just so much fun to hang out with. And I almost feel cheated that I haven't actually gotten to go in for a session or anything, but at some point when we do like some massive conceptual
we are concept. Well, yeah, you got to come down.
I know, I'm excited. That's
not that far.
It's true. Honestly, since we've moved back to Western New York from the city, the idea was, it's really easy because we go back home for, holidays. We'll go back to New York all the time because we know it's just a day drive. We have not been back since.
Wow.
So that's a bummer, but eventually.
No, it's hard. You get, you've got a young daughter. Life just happens.
It does.
COVID.
Yeah, no, I know. The plague for sure.
But you have an open invitation. Yeah, anytime you want to come down, you can stay here at the house, bring your wife, bring your daughter.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Joe. So we've got plenty of your tracks.
We just got to wait till the kitchen's finished.
Joe mentioned in our pre-interview that he is getting a kitchen remodel done, and our guitar player, John Bone, actually knows very well about that, and I guess first world problems, I suppose. But yes, I would love to come check out your new kitchen. That's wonderful. And thank you. So we're not going to keep you too long, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for making our new single sound amazing. It's funny, that first hit in the song reminds me of In Bloom from Nirvana. And I don't know, you took it there. You've maxed out all of the sonic nooks and crannies so that it just sounds so good, and I'm so excited. I also want to call out the fact that when I moved back to Western New York, I realized a Buffalo artist here that I was really into had worked with you, Dead Wolf, and I thought that was really cool to make that connection, and that like this whole world, again, the longer you're in the music world, the more you realize like, oh, we all know one another. Like this is
Dead Wolf is a good band.
They're incredible. They've got, talk about a specific vibe that is not like anyone else's. You
Yeah.
know? They are like truly a band that is transcended 2022, and they're like just a timeless vintage rock band, psychedelic vintage rock band that somehow still works now. They're still contemporary. They're great. But
Great
I also,
haircuts.
What's
I
that?
just want to say that your song, you did a great job on the song.
That's
it's not just that it's a good song, which it is, but I mean the mix, everything was excellent.
That's all John Bone. I want to give John Bone as much credit as possible.
Well, tell John, excellent
yeah,
work.
man, thank you, and I will. It's funny because like after I had also gone to audio engineering school, thinking like, oh, I'm going to parlay this music ambition into like a legitimate career, you know, and was trying to get into like post-production work, and I did, you know, freelance all over New York, doing a lot of random things, audio oriented. But what I ended up realizing was that it made me not want to work on anything like fun or creative at the end of the day. It's like when you try to make a living doing what you love, you kind of ruin what you love. So I'm happy I landed where I landed because I realized I'm a decent like demo mixer. Like I can get my ideas that I'm writing out in full capacity, but like to get a real sounding real record with air movement and mics picking that up, that is all John. John went to CRAS, the Conservatory for Recording Arts and Sciences in Arizona, but then cut his teeth in Nashville in those studio sessions, like session players, the whole bit. And he's got some stories, man, but it's so cool.
Where's he live?
So he lives in Batavia. So John and
Get
I
out
both,
of here.
it's the happenstance of how this band came back together. John and I played in our high school band back in the day, Joey Vicious, and then we both moved away for like 10 years and came back to the area around the same time, and both kind of, you know, magnetized back to one another. And I'm so happy. I couldn't be more grateful to have him as such a, you know, irreplaceable member of our band, not only from a musicianship standpoint, because he's an incredible genius level, you know, virtuoso shredder, but you know, his engineering prowess as well. The whole studio he's built up in the Harvester Center in Batavia, it's just such a wonderful home base. I feel super grateful every day that this is our life and that we get to do this in our 30s with kids. So
I think when I went and played at the
TF Browns, Bone was with me. When
we play, I think I rehearsed in a room right next to his.
Yeah. Well, first of all the rooms in Harvester Center are like identical, but yes. But
I mean, there was this kick-ass studio right next door.
Well, no, that's probably Old
Mike,
Bear.
there was a bass player, Mike.
Interesting. Yeah, no, there's another studio in Harvester called Old Bear. And
maybe that was it. I don't know.
But either way,
I gotta meet him.
You gotta come out. We'll have you out there.
Because I'm from Batavia. I mean, how could I not? You know, we gotta have a Batavia hang this summer.
It's truly the hometown thing, isn't it? Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do a hometown vibe hang. That'll be good. I do want to mention just the artists that you have in your catalog that just blow my mind, just real quick, because I know this is very name droppy. But before I let you go, I just think it's amazing that you have the Cheap Trick, I Want You to Want Me live from Budokan. Like, that is the version that is like huge, right? Am I missing?
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I grew up with that record too, right. And it was probably about 10 years ago now. Maybe it might have been 15 years ago.
So long ago, yeah.
That when vinyl started becoming popular again, I did a series of re-releases for Sony. And there were some really cool records, that being one. But there was like Joe Satriani, Surfing with the Alien, Steve Vai's Passion and Warfare. There was Johnny Cash. Just all these amazing records that I knew them all. Like, I listened to them all like a fan, because I'm total fanboy on those. And like, so to be able to cut them was so much fun.
I'm so, that's amazing. But also, I saw Gang of Youths, which they're an Australian band. I love them. They're fantastic. We have Sharon Van Etten, Animal Collective, Clap Your Hands, Say Yeah, Dirty Projectors, which was huge for me when I was in New York, because we were playing Dirty Projectors in our stores that I was working in. And that was amazing. Deer Hunter, City and Color, Washed Out, the Dirty Projectors and David Byrne collab thing that they did. you're keep doing what you're doing. I'm so happy for you.
I'm trying.
Yeah, man, this is really good. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Thank
man.
you for helping us sound good. And to
Yeah,
everyone out there, I'm going to put your socials or any type of website or anything you not up here on the screen here. Please go follow Joe. Go listen to the playlist we made here for you. And thank you again, man.
Thank you, Wren. Great to see you.
You too. Take care.
See you, buddy.
The Instigator Hour.